So I'll just start with the objects, removing the seat in the back so we can proceed to weave the new seat. I'm using what you can call like a plate scissor, I believe it's called, but you can use anything, just any strong scissor. Brought you up close so you can see what I'm doing. Later you will be able to see the whole chair while I work on it. So I will place this here. So you clip it on the inside, and we want to make 2 rounds in the beginning, like this. I will explain as I move on. So this will go across, and as you see, on the strings that go across, it has to go under the string that goes like this. So two above, 2 under, 2 above, 2 under. And as you see over here, I believe you can see it, right? Yeah. As you see over here, we will get a little bit ahead if I just pull this over here. So I will make 2 rounds so we are at the same place. Now you can use any type of clipper you want. I use this because it's good, but a regular household would have like a normal one that can be used. It uses these broad clips, if you see, like this, and they will do nicely. Okay, so now we are ready to begin weaving, and I'll just make sure it's tight. I'll take it over here, and as we are doing 2 above and 2 under, we'll do 1 string at a time. I'll show you. So you will attach it in here beneath this one. Now some people do it another way. I prefer this way because it's quite easy and it's just as good as the other ways. So now, as you remember, we did 2 across, or 2 above on this side to get ahead, and we'll do the same now. Like that. So now I'll do 2 above here. If I'm moving too fast, you can just slow it down and keep up. So we did 2 rounds above. Now we'll go under and up and across like this. So that's the pattern. I'll just do a few lines and speed it up. On these first few strings, you will just have to see what I'm doing. Now it's important when you tighten this, it has to be quite tight actually. Because otherwise it'll just move around and you don't want that. There's something I don't like, so I'll just see this. So this material can be quite bad sometimes, and I'll just replace it. I'm just removing the excess string. Removing the clips as well. Cut it at the damage and just go again. Okay. So this string is pretty bad. I'll get a new one. Now this is just what happens working with this material. This is a natural material, so you never know how it's going to behave. And the quality will vary a lot. Now we've managed to find a good supplier, but I've seen some pretty bad materials out there. This is actually some of the best I've ever had. So now we can proceed. So I think I'll just go ahead and fast forward. I believe you have the information you need to do this yourself. But if not, you can always just watch it again. Slow motion maybe, that helps. Sometimes you run into a little bit of misalignment, and it comes to show when you know that there's not enough room for two above and two beneath. So sometimes I'll just do, instead of doing two above, I'll just do one above and then another two across. Maybe I'll just show you. So this would look a little bit weird if I just did three above and ended like that. I want to end with two across. So I'll show you like this. So now, before we did two, but now I'll just do one. So you see now there's one here and two here, and this is to make room for another one across. And this can turn up for various reasons. It didn't on the other side, so that side is fine. Maybe the material is, you know, a little bit off, or maybe I did a little bit of something off, or you know, it can be many reasons for that. So you see, both here and here, we have a little bit of, not an issue, but something we got to fix, because this will just stay up if we don't do anything. So on the front, I like to bend it underneath. Just take something to help me out a bit. That's pretty good. So for the next part, we're going to be weaving this way. And I think it's better if I just show you how I do it instead of trying to explain. And I've pre-cut some material. So you want it to be like, this is a little bit long, but you want it to be like maybe this length. And the reason I cut so many is because I take several through and then one at a time. And I think it will make sense if I just do it, honestly. So this is the technique for saving time doing this. So you go one above, one under, one above, one under, one above, one under. Just alternating. Very simple. So now that I have a bundle up here, I'll take the one at a time. I'll take these and I will weave it the opposite. So I'll show you. So instead of going above here, I go under, then just the same all the way. Then you want to pull it down. You see this line right here? You kind of want it to be just on top of that. Like this. And then you just go around. Make sure it's tight. And then you just attach it like that. On the other side as well, making sure it's tight and attach. Cut the excess string off, and now for the magic part, we will just take one and pull it down. So now that I've pre-weaved a bunch of strings, every time I only have to take one through. So instead of weaving one, then one, and then one, and then one, I'll weave one, take one from up here, and weave one, and take one from up there. I think if you're doing this for the first time, you just want to maybe just weave one at a time to make it as simple as possible. But once you get the technique under your skin, you can just try to do it like this. So now I can just pull one from up here. So now you see the pattern is beginning to take form. I'll just do a couple more and then I'll just fast forward. Okay. So sometimes the clips can you know, rise a bit. I'm just gonna hammer it down. You want it to be nice and even. This is a bit short. This is a bit long, but that's okay. If you have any questions for any part of the process, you can just let me know in the comments and I'll try to answer as to the best of my ability. I'll just do one more, then I'll fast forward to the last part. So once you get this far, you no longer want to take multiple string through. It just gets a little bit too tight. So like maybe 3/4 of the way, I'll transition into taking one through at a time. Yeah. So we've come to the last one, almost at least, and this is just a little bit different than the others, but I will show you. And here it can get a little bit tight to pull the string through, but you can give it a little push to help it along the way. So now, instead of going around, because there's no room, as you can see, this can only go down, we will attach it on the inside of the frame. So I'll show you. You'll turn the chair. I don't know if this is actually visible for you, but what I'm doing is I'm just bending it around the frame and clipping it on the inside, on both sides, like that. Maybe you can see this, but it should pretty much explain itself if you've come this far, if you're doing it. So, in theory, we are done, but some people like to close the gap up here and down here, and what you can do is you can put in some loose strings. Not good, and they'll just sit. They'll not carry any weight, but they will just sit and as a cosmetic. So I'll just show you how. So in the bottom, I like to put in maybe 1 or 2, depending on how much of a gap there is. I think maybe 1 will do. In this case, it depends on the gap, and it'll change from seat to seat. So you see right here, it'll go under. I can just cut it. You'll just place it like this, and it'll just sit there. Maybe you can move a little bit. And on this side, it's a little bit different, because if I take this underneath, it will look a little bit weird, because the next one is also underneath. So I'll just this can get a little bit like, gotta fill a little bit with it. So now that this is over here, you can just, there will be a small gap, and you can just pull this right down there. You see what I'm doing? Just bending it around. Then sometimes I'll cut it on the inside. Sometimes I will clip it on to make it sit, and in this case I think I'll just clip it on because it sits quite nicely. Okay. And it's the same on the back. So as this is on top, you want to go with this one beneath. Now this can get pretty tight up here. But you'll just, sometimes you'll break the end of the string, but that doesn't matter, you'll just cut it off. As long as you can pull it. So I will pull it until I have enough to go underneath. And I will just place that right there. That's fine. Then I will give it a little bit more over here so I can go down like in the front. Now I'm not sure if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm basically just bending it around these two on the right side to make it sit. This can be very tight. Just gotta. Okay, sometimes you can make a little bit of room like a screwdriver or something. Got it. I guess not. There we go. You see this sits nice and tight, and you never sit there, so it doesn't matter that it's not holding any weight. This and I think I'll just put in one more. I like to start a little bit further in because I can always just weave this part with the other side of the string, because it gets a little bit tight up here. So now I can do the same thing over here, just bend it around. I'm not sure if you're getting this, but I'm basically just bending the end of this string around these two and attaching it a little bit more. Like this, you see. And then I'm attaching it on the inside of the frame, like that. This will just sit very nicely. Like that. So we close the gap, and this is finished. So for the back, I think I'll do a separate video because it's the same, but it's a little bit different. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.